Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the South East Planning Committee meeting on Wednesday, 17th of September 2025. My name is Councillor Burnham and I'm the Chairperson of this committee. Members, we are streaming this meeting live as well as recording, and by being present in the meeting, you are giving your consent to being recorded. During each item, there is only one item, please put your hand up to indicate if you wish to speak, and I will then invite you at the appropriate time. Please note that the YouTube live stream sound recording is dependent on the correct use of microphones. Please reference a page or paragraph number when referring to agenda papers, and please keep your contributions as clear and concise as possible. Again, fire exit is there are no scheduled fire practices, so the resting point is in Barclays Bank car park. Members, I'd like to thank Councillor Fluker as well for suggesting it, but I'd just like to mention the very, very sad passing of Councillor Brian Beale. Councillor Beale was a member of this committee for many, many years, and his views and opinions were always, valued, very highly valued. So Councillor Beale was a big part of South East Planning, and yes, very, very sad. Would anybody like to say a few words?
Well, I wouldn't mind.
Yes, please, Councillor Norman.
To be honest with you, I learned a lot from him, because he was a very clever man, because he never said anything that could upset anybody, but he used to get his point over very well. And also he worked so hard. I mean, goodness me, in Southminster, I mean, he even did grass, didn't he? He actually did all the maintenance as being a councillor.
He was Mr. Southminster, wasn't he, really, in many ways, I think.
And to be honest, he was a very, very nice man.
He was. Thank you very much, that's lovely.
I learned from him.
Thank you. So did I. Thank you, members. So moving on to item 2, apologies for absence. Committee clerk, apologies for absence, please.
Thank you, Chair. We've had an apology for absence received from Councillor Stan.
Thank you very much. So moving on to item 3, minutes. It's recommended that the minutes of the meeting held on 20th of August, found on pages 7 to 10, are approved as a true and accurate record. I understand that, yes, Councillor Pratt had given apologies, and those were not recorded. So, Committee Clerk, if those minutes could be amended to reflect that we received apologies from Councillor Pratt.
Thank you, Chair.
Lovely. Otherwise, are we happy to have a seconder?
Can I just say that my name isn't right on the minutes? It's UGC. I'm not sure it's right, because it might be an issue.
You never know. Thank you very much. So, Committee Clerk as well as Councillor Sidney Norman could be amended. Thank you.
Yes, that's been noted. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyway, I'll move that the minutes are approved. Do I have a seconder?
Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Bell. Can we agree the minutes by consent, members?
Agreed.
Super. Item 4, declarations of interest.
Hang on a second. I'll finish it 1 second.
Yes, Councillor Brown.
Unfortunately, Councillor Brown sent his apologies, so I'm not sure that he can
So yes, declarations of interest now. I think we've got a minute straight. To disclose the existence of any disclosable pecuniary interests, other registrable interests and non-registrable interests relating to items of business on the agenda, having regard to paragraph 9 and appendix B of the Code of Conduct for members. Members, any declarations? No. Okay then, I dare say there won't be any arising because we know what the item is. So members, moving on, item 5, 00301. this is the agenda item that we had to defer from the last meeting because of some incorrect information. So we are familiar with this, so I will hand over to Mr Bailey to just remind us of the application whenever you're ready, Mr Bailey.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I'll whiz through the presentation, although you've already seen it, but just for the benefit of Councillor Pratt and any others that...
Councillor Bowden.
This is an application for demolition of existing outbuildings and construction of a 2-bedroom dwelling and an extended vehicle crossover adjacent to the old post office, Main Road, Mundon. This is the site here. Aerial shot showing the settlement in context. A series of photographs showing the approach to the site, the existing crossover and the buildings to be demolished. They're not in a great way at the moment by either of the buildings. Outbuilding 1 is probably the better of the two. The smaller one to the centre of the site. Outbuilding 2, which runs alongside the road, as you can see from the rear, is not in a great condition, needs some attention. The proposal is to demolish both of these and to create a new single-storey 2-bedroom dwelling. This is the approach from the south, the vehicle crossover that's going to be extended slightly, the garden to the rear, and the magnificent view across the fields to the back. This is the site, how it splits at the moment, the existing old post office dwelling on the left-hand side, and the outbuildings to the right. Here you can see overlaid the proposed layout with the existing central parking area extended slightly rearwards to provide parking for both the existing and proposed units. All of those details have been agreed with Highways. Here's a slightly closer view showing the hard and soft landscaping proposed. All of the existing boundary trees and hedges along the boundary to the north and western sides are to be retained with additional planting along the highway edge. The style and approach has been to mimic the style of the existing outbuildings, something which officers feel has been very successfully accomplished, as the elevation here shows. Very traditional design approach with black painted weatherboarding and tile roofs akin to the existing 2-bedroom bungalow, ensuite main bathroom. There is a small external heat pump proposed to the rear wall, as you can see just here, although that is very well concealed from public view, as you can see here. It would be in this location here, with a very substantial dense treatment along this, which this is the northern edge of the site. In terms of principle of development, this was something that was discussed last time. The dwelling itself is located within the settlement boundary. The reason for it being a departure and therefore being heard by committee is the fact that the rear element of the site, the garden area of the site, is outside the settlement boundary, so technically a departure, but nonetheless, with the dwelling within the settlement boundary and therefore in keeping with the townscape of the village of Mundon, officers consider the principle of development to be acceptable. There was the issue that arose in terms of the reporting at previous committee related to a description of the sustainability of the site and services available within the vicinity, which was where there was an erroneous paragraph referring to Tillingham. This has been updated in the report, but the officer's approach to considering the principle of development here is that, as explained, the proposed dwelling lies within the settlement boundary and is therefore deemed acceptable by policy S8. All other issues, as discussed in the report, are in terms of residential amenity, highway safety, ecology, are all considered to be acceptable subject to planning conditions, and the recommendation is to grant planning permission subject to a unilateral agreement for a grounds contribution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bailey. So there is neither members' update nor public participation for this item. So I know there was a lengthy discussion last time, but some members weren't here. So I'm going to throw the floor open. Members. Yes, Councillor Fittick.
I'd just like to raise one point from 5.10.2. And perhaps this should be noted. I'm uncomfortable with the UTC Rules Facility Survey May 2023 because that hasn't been found sound and has been challenged by Essex County Council on a number of different points. So I understand why it's in there, but I think we really should be determining applications on agreed, if you like, positions of villages, as opposed to potential position of villages that may not actually be, shall we say, when scrutinised, may not be found to be actually appropriate. So that's the only point I've made. But other than that, I'm supportive of it. I think it's building the right type of houses. We need more 1 and 2 bedroom properties. I do know that Mundon had concern about the fact that it was quite small. Well, I'd probably see that as a positive, so I'm supportive of it, and I would recommend that we accept the officer's recommendation.
Thank you. Is that a proposal, Councillor Fittick?
Yeah.
Do I have a seconder, Councillor Fluker?
But I do want to.
I don't know if Mr. Bailey wanted just to come back on Councillor Fittick's point.
Yes, I think obviously the document in question is our sort of only reference point in terms of survey work that has been undertaken to date, and perhaps there is in the pipeline a requirement to update that. The purpose of the reference within the report is to outline what is available. The principle that we've considered is essentially down to the location of the dwelling just within the settlement anyway. So, but I take on board the comment.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey.
Yeah, I just wanted to just echo that we take that away. Yeah, I get where the point is coming from.
Thank you. Councillor Fluker, did you want to?
Yeah, I mean, the principle of this is that it just replaces the building. I mean, I'm sure Uma will remember there used to be an old forge there, didn't there? I remember there was a shopping mall. But yeah, it is what it is, and I like the idea that it's going to be painted weatherable, but I suspect, I don't know if you're going to have that as a condition, but normally they use this cement board, which doesn't look very natural after a few years. I like the fact that it's 1 bedroom and that cuts off Council Fittick. Somebody is this. But anyway, I'm not serious. Can we just have a look at condition number 6, Mr. Bailey? We've got a big issue at the moment in Southminster. Lots more complaints today in relation to the conversion of the old police station, court building, magistrates court and library. Today there was 21 constructors' vehicles parked in Pumpmead. Clearly, I've had a look at the conditions. I don't think, unless it's in the construction management plan, I can't actually see a condition about on-street and off-street parking, where that is, I think we might have lost the trick. But I know Mr. Johnson is making the notes of this, and I know that he's very familiar with Southminster now, and I can say it's a great welcome to welcome you there. But yeah, it is an issue, and where this site is on the bend, it's quite a busy road, it's not a very wide road, there's always issues with parking there, which causes all sorts of problems. So I noticed that condition number 6, under the reason, it mentions in the interest of highway safety, but apart from no waste materials being burnt on site, I can't actually see what in condition 6 refers specifically to highway safety, unless you're going to wrap that up within the construction management plan. But we found before, with the CMPs, it's difficult to, it always seems that we get lots of problems, members, with construction management plans and how they're executed and delivered. And then when we try and enforce them, it sort of seems to be almost impossible to enforce it. So with an application like this, I think we should have a crystal clear point or condition that says on-site parking only. And if the applicant or his builder or his contractor doesn't think that's achievable, then they're going to have to make alternative arrangements, because it's not, a lot of the big building sites in London now, everybody arrives in minibuses again, because of all the problems with parking. So, I mean, I just hope that there's a way of perhaps weaving in a more definitive condition rather than just relying on the construction management plan and trying to enforce that if there are issues.
Well, I think there's certainly a way of incorporating it as a specific part of the construction management plan. Funnily enough, your ears must have been burning yesterday, Councillor the topic of construction management plan conditions was discussed at a meeting yesterday, and one of the things that I've noticed in recent times is that our standard way of construction management plan conditions is almost too prescriptive insofar as if the applicant then submits a detail to clear that condition, as long as they've ticked all of those boxes, then we are hard pressed to ask for any more information if they've dealt with the points that they've raised. So it is something that we are going to be reviewing in due course, and how they're worded. But for the purposes of this scheme, we can most certainly take away, if it's your a clear concern by members that parking on the street would cause a problem, and I agree, it would be useful to have that incorporated within that condition, possible. Going forwards, whether it would be reasonable to, I'm not sure how reasonable it would be to prevent on-street parking per se in the future, but we have adequate provision provided on site for.
I think it's really it's just during the construction.
Yes,
because this is where we get the problem: half a dozen white vans and something else.
Well, I know of one that's been a problem.
Chairman, if it helps you, I propose that we leave it up to Mr. Baden to come up with a suitable condition to protect the amenity of the road users in the vicinity. Can I just ask another question on the same condition? And it goes on to say, if it is known or there's a likelihood that there will be a requirement to work outside of these hours, so they're the basic hours, so it's sort of 8 to 6 on weekdays and probably 8 to 12 or 1 on Saturdays. Or there will be periods where there will be excessive noise that will significantly impact. It seems to me that we're leaving the door open through this particular comment to carry on working, because it then talks about receptors, noise receptors, and sensitive noise premises. It's a condition that I'm not familiar with. I'm quite not sure what that means, because that will significantly impact on sensitive receptors. Environmental health at Mundon District Council must be notified prior to the works.
I have to admit, it's. Have you come across that? Because
I believe it was the wording that was proposed by environmental.
It must have been something relatively recent.
But it seems like, if you
does it have to be in?
but it just seems like there's a suggestion that you've got noise receptors there. I mean, I think that opens the door to allow people to work outside of the permitted hours.
I think the point's noted. That is very unusual, I must admit. In all the authorities I've worked with, I've not seen the CMP stretched to that extent.
No, it's odd. I think, Mr. Johnson, through you, Chairman, this is a problem. When you've only got one item on the agenda, members tend to read everything.
But I must say, today, so a couple of points raised that I think are quite useful.
Yeah, very
for us to take
useful. And as I say, with the construction management plan topic has already been discussed as recent as yesterday, so it's something to take away.
Unfortunately, I missed that one.
Well, I'm glad you listened. I'm always bringing it up, so it's been honest debate. I'm glad you listened. Or tackled it.
Well, you do listen, I can't hear you all the time because you've got your hand in your mouth.
Councillor Fetton, is that Councillor Norman waiting? So, Councillor Norman.
Oh, yes, thank you. I'm very concerned actually about our conditions of plan of parking and all that, and access and all that sort of thing that we actually agree with or disagree with, and highways recommendations. Because it appears that when we do make decisions on these plans, and they carry them out and they get on and build and do whatever, after 10 years they don't have to worry. Now, because those conditions don't apply after 10 years, I understand. Yeah. Well,
in terms of what parking conditions are.
The thing is, since I've been on the council, which is nearly 30 years, lots of the conditions that we put on planning applications in areas like this, especially with highways, that after 10 years, our problems that we see are going to happen aren't relevant anymore. So what I'm saying is that is a very dangerous road. I'm sorry, but I was actually working at A1 laminates and motors on that corner for 7 years, and I had to go down past that quite often. And it is a very dangerous road. We've got buses and so the conditions we make on these places is very relevant, not just now, but in the future. And that's just what I'd like to say in this situation.
Thank you.
Yeah, just on that, I mean, I would confirm that planning conditions don't fall away.
No.
Well,
Well,
that's not what I've been told. But
I think what you may be getting at is that if somebody is in breach of a planning condition or carries out development without planning permission and 10 years has elapsed, yeah, it is 10 years specifically for conditions, yeah, then it becomes immune, but that's a different matter rather than it just falling away.
Well, that's what I'm concerned about. You see, I understand what you're saying. That's what I was told. We have one in Burnham. I'm not going to go into that now, where it's a very dangerous situation, and I'm told that they've been doing it for 10
that will be where they've breached it for 10 years, Councillor Norman.
So
that will be where it's been breached and then left for 10 years.
Yeah, but then
if it's dangerous.
Well, but even then, I mean, it's still not a fait accompli just because 10 years has passed, yeah? They have to prove that it's been consistent. We have to be sure that it wasn't hidden. You know, they wasn't trying to mask it under something else, but then suddenly turn around, but it's always been there, but it looked like something else. It will depend on the circumstances. So it's not quite that straightforward.
I understand. I've actually had this conversation with Anne. So I do know what I'm talking about, and I'm very, very concerned about, if that's the case, I'm very concerned about the fact that if a road is dangerous or it's not supposed to be going one way down or down the other way down, that if after 10 years they are doing it, that in fact it's acceptable.
think this is a conversation that we need to have outside this meeting. Councillor Siddle and something we'll
Yeah,
continue
that's
this.
fine.
by
Yeah,
the time.
that's okay.
Thank you very much.
It's just that the road is a very dangerous road.
Yeah,
we're talking
and I
about.
think
And
we're
I
in
do
good
think
condition.
that Councillor Luke is right.
I think.
I mean, with construction, it's sensible, but even after that, I think it's very important that they're not parking on the highway.
Thank you. So I've got Councillor Fintech, Councillor Bowen, and then Councillor Hayward. We have got a lot to say about this after all. Councillor Fintech.
I was thinking, I've only what Councillor Kluger said, I mean, a development meeting in Laxton, which Richmond's agreed. I mean, they started the development and they weren't doing the wheel washing, and the answer was that we couldn't do it at the time because the machine had broken. So I think the more we can do to push these matters through and the tighter we can make the CMP, the better, Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Councillor Bowen.
I'm only trying to, I don't know, I mean, just on what Councillor Fluker said, I took it differently about this excessive noise on sensitive receptors as to being people who are sensitive to noise.
No, the receptors are something that
I got a receptor being a person, a receiver that always being sensitive to high noise.
No, I think ultimately it does mean people, but the sensitive receptors would be, for example, where people live. So with their houses, so it's effectively people, but it's where there's houses as opposed to premises. And
Exactly on the noise, obviously just thinking about it, where the property is, consultant here by sensitive noise premises, has the pub got one of their things in that actually does record noise or something like that? Because that's a possibility, isn't it? They've got something local. You've got village hall there, you've got lots of things there, so that could be the reason for it.
Could be. Members, has everyone had their statements? We have a second of Councillor Fluker, I think.
Yeah.
Members, can we agree this by sentence?
Yeah.
Agree by sentence. Thank you very much.
Proposal, please.
Is that subject to the adding the conditions?
Yes, it is. Yeah, have we made note of those conditions?
Yeah, can you reiterate the proposal, please?
The proposal is to agree with the officer's recommendation to approve the application.
Subject to.
Subject to the conditions discussed.
So that was the construction.
Subject to updating the construction management plan to include a requirement for parking to be contained within the site during the course of construction.
Thank you. Was that?
Yes.
Got that? Got it,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, I'll just have to build out.
Super,
I mean,
thanks
yeah.
so much. Mr Johnson?
Just on that point, because obviously we will need to probably get a legal opinion on that as well. Just to make sure that such a condition would be reasonable in planning terms.
Okay.
I believe we have used it in other circumstances.
Yeah, we'll take away and consider that, yeah.
Fabulous. Thank you, members. Item 6, any other items of business that I'll consider urgent? I have none, you'll be pleased to know. So I'm now drawing the meeting to close at 19:58.
Thanks.